All right. So this one's going to be a bit of a side direction, I guess. I'm a big fan of post-apocalyptic settings. I like them in fiction. I like them in gaming. Um, Apocalyptic scenarios have always fascinated people. I mean, you talked about the end of the world, when the year 1000 rolled around. They talked about it at the beginning of the 20th century and at the end of the 20th century. People seem fascinated with the end of the world. So there are all kinds of end of the world scenarios. And you can, create settings from the question of, well, the world had its apocalyptic event, and there are things left over. What happens now? For a good portion of the 20th century, or at least the latter half of it anyway, the concept of what would end the world was pretty simple. We would. Nuclear weapons were the big boogeyman through much of my childhood. And you can see it demonstrated rather clearly in various films, various works of fiction, and of course, various games. Gamma World being a end of the world scenario that, while it doesn't always directly tie to nuclear holocaust, it certainly strongly implies it with the name Gamma World. Anyways, I was thinking about what my favorite sort of apocalyptic scenario is as a basis for a setting. And there are a few out there. There's the more fanciful things like like an alien invasion or the return of magic to the world. The Riffs does a good riff on that. From a sort of, here's a reasonable one that might actually happen. I tend to prefer the more grounded versions, more, okay, this could happen, and try and think of what would the world be like after that happened. Lucifer's Hammer is a great book about a comet hitting the planet, and it's very much here's the lead up is, here's this comet that we're beginning to suspect might hit us, but no, not really. And then it actually does, and they're like, well, crap. And the rest of the latter half of the book is, this is what happens after it hits, and it sucks. So, those kinds of scenarios are interesting to me, and how you rebuild a society after that with the context of what we have now. So I think, while I love the fanciful ones, the grounded ones sink their claws into me a little deeper. And I think the one that is likely to happen, not likely, but could happen, let's say that, could happen, that catches my interest, is Yellowstone. So Yellowstone is a supervolcano in the western United States. It is a national park. It's famous for its geysers and beautiful scenery. It's a great place from all accounts. But underneath it is a giant volcano that occasionally goes off. Now, this would not end the world, but it would certainly screw it over for a while. If it went off, we would have a new ice age. We would have much of the breadbasket of North America buried under volcanic ash and causing mass starvation. Infrastructures would collapse. The the world would recover, but it would be hard. And the world that comes after will certainly look different from a geopolitical standpoint from the world we have now. And I think it would be fascinating to do a game set in a world post Yellowstone going off. There is no United States after that. The U.S. doesn't survive that. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Not as a single entity at any rate. It would render our power very tenuous. Sure, we'd have the most powerful navy in the world and a good portion of the army, but we don't produce food anymore. Our economy would collapse. The ability to cross the country would collapse. It would be maybe a year before a plane would fly again. So a lot of our ability to deliver our power would be restricted. I think it would be an interesting exploration to try and figure out what the effects of that would be. Anyways, so here's my question for my various viewers. What's your favorite apocalyptic scenario? Is it, is it fanciful? Is it the magic returns to the world? Is it, let's see, is it the asteroid impact? Is it nuclear war? A lot of people love zombie plagues, and I can't say that they are wrong in liking those things. So I'm asking, what is your favorite apocalyptic setting? Do a video response if you got a channel, and if you don't, leave a comment. I'd be interested to hear what people think. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. Subscribe, like, share with all the people, and I'm going to try and put out a couple of more videos this week, just short ones after work, because I feel like it, and we're leading up to Gen Con, and I won't be at Gen Con, but there's some stuff that's going to be at Gen Con that I want to talk about. So there. Yeah. That's it. But yeah, subscribe, like, share with all the people, check out the Patreon if you feel up to it, and talk to you later. Bye.